Hello and welcome to episode number 3 of Modern Family. My name's Ryan and I'm joined again by Charlotte to talk this time about navigating difference, which is, from my perspective, one of the most important conversations we're going to have, because it sounds really easy to say, but I can literally remember the moment when I realized not everybody thinks like me.
What a revelation.
Huge, absolutely huge. And I would go so far as saying that then changed how I was as a leader, how I was as a son, brother, friend, husband, dad.
Well.
Like this idea that we are so unique in our thinking, personality traits, how we approach things, all these different elements, and how that's something actually used to bring about unity and
Yeah.
this collective calling, not something that's supposed to sort of divide us.
Yeah.
But it so often does, doesn't it? The story that we get this from in Genesis is Isaac and Rebekah.
Yeah.
What
a
because
pair.
there's a difference between them. And it's not maybe as obvious as you'd think, but when you sort of start to tease it out, can you tease it out for us? Like show us where this comes up?
I think so. Isaac and Rebekah, in case you don't know the story, Isaac and Rebekah are a married couple. And the commentaries would call Isaac the most passive patriarch. And they would call Rebekah the most active of all of the women in the family line. So there is a clash of coming.
Yeah.
Like it's never going to go easy. So,
But they're attracted to each other. Like they're
there's
attracted
so much love.
Starts very well.
Yeah, I mean, and there is so much love in the story. And yes, the Bible makes it clear that they love one another, but love in and of itself is not enough. You know, you've got to that feeling of devotion or whatever, or affection, because you have to navigate the difference then once you're in a friendship or a relationship or whatever of any kind. So Isaac is one of his greatest strengths is he's a peacemaker. So as you see, every time he comes into battle, he comes into these continuous battles over wells, which are really, really important in the biblical context. It's like life or death, a well's life or death. And he keeps discovering these wells, and then people keep saying, no, that's my well. and Isaac at no point, he's not a fighter. You know, and he makes peace over and over again and moves on, and God just keeps giving him another well, you know, because he's not going to see his kid without a well. But he has this real capacity not to respond impulsively out of rage or anger or like, that's my well, how dare you take it? And it's a really, really beautiful quality. But the shadow side of being like kind of a peacemaking kind of a person is you can move into passivity, where you just anything for an easy life, because you don't peaceful people don't enjoy confrontation. And that's a good thing, because it means that you don't push for confrontation when it's unnecessary. And a person like that is always trying to work towards harmony and peace. It's a really beautiful gift, especially in the current climate where everybody's at war. But because you don't enjoy conflict, sometimes you can become avoidant of it, and you can become passive, and you can abdicate your responsibilities, because it's like anything for a quiet life. I'll go along with anything for a quiet life. So Isaac's like that. Now you've got Rebekah. And when you first meet Rebekah, the servant is at the well. He's got all these camels, and she's like, I'll water all of them. Like, I'm not just going to give you water. I'm going to water all these camels.
So if he's passive, she's active.
She is like, she's the queen of like, let's get this job done.
Yeah.
She's a go-getter. And you see that throughout the story, that she's like, her family are like, are you sure you want to go? Do you want to wait a while longer before you go to meet this guy? And she's like, no, let's go. So they're headed for a crash at some point because of their personality difference. And I think what's really, really important to note is it's not because either personality is wrong. They have been crafted in the image of God. And that's what humanity does. That humanity captures the diversity of the image of God. So in Isaac, you're seeing this beautiful commitment to harmony and peace that is in God. And in Rebekah, you're seeing this beautiful, dynamic, active nature of God. Like, God is not passive, he's active, he's always acting in the world. The difficulty comes when we can only see the image of God in ourselves.
Right.
And we can't see the image of God in the other person, and the other person becomes a problem because they're different to us. And so these two people then begin to clash. And what you begin to see happen within these two personalities, which is really common in this personality dynamic when you've got somebody who's a peacemaker and somebody who's like a go-getter, let's go fix this problem, is that sometimes one lies down and the other climbs over. And that's exactly what happens here, is you'll see as the story unfolds that Isaac becomes very passive. There are moments definitely in his parenting where he should have done more than he did. And there's definitely hints in the text that he allows Esau particularly to get away with some things that he shouldn't have. I would imagine, I can't say for sure, but I would imagine Rebecca did not love that. She's like, go deal with your son.
Interesting table discussion at
I
dinner.
would imagine. And so Rebecca then manipulates to try and get the right thing done because she feels like Isaac's not doing what he should be doing. And so she tries to climb over him and control and manipulate.
That's probably the most important part of what we're talking about today, that moment.
Yeah, so that's what happens, and it's because there's these two personalities that don't know how to function together. But if you imagine the beauty if those two personalities can function together, the wholeness that would bring to a family dynamic, but instead it actually creates war.
Is that not a picture of what we're talking about? Like the challenge of difference and the beauty of difference. So if they work together, you've got the peacemaker with the go-getter. So Isaac can help maybe Rebecca's shadow side or blind side. Rebecca can help Isaac's. And actually what you can see either in friendship, in marriage, in whatever, is you actually become more like you steal the best of that person if you allow it to grow together, which would be so good.
Become the image of Christ.
Right.
Like, I'm sure that you can note that even when you look at your key relationships in your life, where you can think, I was like this, and then I met this friend or this co-worker or, Lou, your wife or whatever, and I am now much more like this because I realised
I am better because of Lou and people around me. And like I said, it sounds really obvious, but like having that realization of like, not everybody thinks like me, like your own uniqueness, it completely changes how we see each other. We then appreciate the other. You don't become my way or the highway. You become, well, if I can use, not use is probably the wrong language, but if I can get out of you the best of you and bring the best of me, well, suddenly now we start to cover all areas.
Absolutely.
Which becomes essential in the collective calling as a church. But in this story for Rebecca, she tries to become manipulative and she becomes controlling, sort of her shadow side, because she sees difference as something that's in the way. And she needs to get over it. Doesn't it? And that then becomes the danger, is that we become manipulative and controlling.
And so the question becomes not should we handle difference? How do we handle difference?
Right.
So if the Lord has created us uniquely and differently on purpose, because it's actually better that way, then how do we navigate the difference between us? Because it will either become a place of great battle or it will become our greatest strength.
Right.
There will be there's no neutrality when there's difference. It either divides us or it strengthens us. It will not be it's just not ever going to be neutral.
Yeah.
And so learning what does it look like to see difference as an opportunity for real strength and not, because otherwise what happens is people separate over difference and they silo with other people who are just like them. And then we never get the fullness of what we're meant to be. Right. Because we're meant to be an orchestra. Like, humanity's meant to be an orchestra.
Right. I was a liver. Now maybe I'm a violin.
Violin, I don't know if we can. A recorder? Make you a recorder? Give you a recorder?
With tuba. Just at the back. Just a drone in the back. Sorry to any tuba players.
You know what I mean? Though, like, so let's talk about the tuba. I'm sure the tuba is a lovely instrument. But it's better in an orchestra. Yeah. Everything's better in an orchestra. Yeah. But also an orchestra full of players who are just playing their own game. Yeah. That's worse. Yeah. So whenever people end up in the orchestral din of difference in relationship, then they're like, I'll just go and play with the violins because we're all playing the same tune, and stuff the tuba players. And what they end up with is huge loss and fractures in society. So what the Lord wants to do instead is make us one, not make us the same. Yeah. Make us one. Yeah. And that means that all of us need to learn how to play our part and not abdicate it or feel like we have to become a mirror image of somebody else, but equally respect, honour the other part and enjoy that moment where we had all of these parts, we all learnt our part, and then we came together, and the orchestra master, what do you call him?
Conductor. The orchestral master, that's even better though, I like that.
The conductor. It brings it all
That's
together.
that's amazing. That's a great picture for us,
Like,
though.
it's so good.
So, you know the way we talked about last time, where we talked about this idea of like we can change culture, and for some people it will fire them up, for some it'll cripple them. It fires me up, the potential of creating change. And like the great philosopher says, Ted Lasso. Don't know if you've
Oh,
ever
my word.
watched it, but he says this line. He's just won a darts competition, and he turns to this guy that's sort of the villain of the story, and he says to him, "Stay curious, not judgmental." And I think if we can stay curious, so
So good.
it's kind of how I don't live every day like this, because you have your bad days, but just a consistent learner of others around you, of have a consistent curiosity of asking the question, I wonder why they're doing it that way, or I wonder how they're seeing this. Help me understand. When you stay with that posture, difference actually opens your eyes to a whole
Yeah.
other world. It doesn't become an issue. However, if you are gunning in a very individualized way for your way or the highway, difference becomes an absolute roadblock where you're
Yeah.
just going to ride over people and just move over people. That has been one of the most helpful things.
Yeah.
And I'm not even talking like in leadership or anything. I'm just talking
It's
about
life.
in life, in friendship. Having a wholeness of relationship is actually staying curious with the people around us, and not just having this mentality of like, God's given me this, out of the way. It's God's given this to us. How do we then bring the multicoloredness of all of us out in this?
Yeah.
Not to be the best in the room, but bring the best out of the room.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
That's
No
essential for
heroes.
us. No,
Yeah.
absolutely not.
But you are naturally curious. You ask so
Too many questions. Yeah.
I'm like your mum. When you were small, I cannot even
Well,
imagine.
it's funny because Judah now, who his favorite question is why,
Yeah, it's literally you.
and that is my question. But like for you, like how do you? So even in our personalities, right, we work very closely together. But I love working alongside you because I learn so much. You're very, very different from
night
me.
and day.
I'm right, you're wrong. Do you know what I mean? Like, but we are very different.
Yeah,
But
night and
I
day.
so enjoy learning,
Yeah.
literally every day, learning from you
Yeah,
and
likewise.
watching how you do things. What do you find helpful when it
Yeah.
comes to like? Because you've navigated this for years,
Yeah, I think like because I'm the same. Your difference is what makes you a gift.
right?
You know, in our work world, your difference is an absolute gift to me. So, for example, when we're in a meeting, I will feel totally inspired and then quickly forget everything that was
You
said.
do forget. You do forget very quickly.
Whereas you are like, you're the person who types it up and like holds us to account for what was said, you know, which is, I find that like, that's such a gift to me because it's not in me to be that, but it's in you. I think the reason that it works is because I don't feel like I need to defend myself from you.
Right.
And you don't feel like you need to defend yourself from me. Like, so there's no sense of rivalry. Because the moment that you cannot be curious and defensive at the same time,
So true.
you just can't be. The moment you feel defensive, the walls go up and you are no longer open to learning.
Yeah.
And so we have to be able to create safe relational spaces where the person, even in difficulty, where we can communicate openly but still feel safe.
Yeah.
Because what would have helped Rebekah and Isaac was a good, open, frank discussion
Yeah.
where both of them felt honoured and both of them knew at the end of it they were both going to be able to say to each other, like, we're still friends though, like,
Yeah.
we're still in this together.
Yeah.
We can disagree, we can, and a common goal to see the best for everyone, not a desire to dominate. I'm right, and until you see that I'm right,
Yeah.
this cannot be resolved. That's just not helpful.
Yeah.
That will never get you anywhere. It will get you either where somebody walks out or somebody pretends to agree with you, but inside they will hold and carry incessant rage.
Yeah.
One will dominate, one will be passive. What we need in friendship, in relationships, is equality,
Yeah.
not domination and submission. It's mutual submission. And so the only way to do that is to create really, really safe spaces where people can allow their defenses to come down, where you can have in any kind of relationship, whatever that kind of relationship is, a moment where you say, I feel like there's some tension between us in this regard, where we are maybe seeing things differently. And I'm really interested to hear. I'm genuinely interested to hear how you're viewing this. And I would love if you would do me the honour of explaining how I'm viewing
That's
that,
so good.
so that we can just have an honest conversation
Yeah.
and get it all on the table, so that we don't presume things or don't disagree, don't end up, dividing over this. Let's
Yeah.
just have an open, honest conversation. But if you're going to have that conversation, number one, you can't have it when you're angry,
Yeah.
because you'll go in all guns blazing, and the other person who maybe is not brave enough to bring up the conversation will then go behind the wall, will go into shutdown, and you'll be even more annoyed because that person doesn't come to the table for the conversation.
That's so helpful.
But it's because you've gone in aggressive
Yeah.
and they can't handle it. So you've got to come in like even, gentle. You've got to be very clear about what you're trying to do and trying to achieve, and then you've got to actually hold true to that. You can't say, "I want to hear your opinion," and then when they utter their opinion, go, "I know, but the only reason that you said that is
How to
because
break
of
trust.
this," and
Totally.
because then they're never going to do it again,
No.
because you lied. You said you were interested, but you weren't interested.
Yeah.
All you wanted was for them to agree with you.
Yeah.
You weren't actually interested in what they had to say. So I think clear communication with boundaries that are agreed in how you're going to communicate with one another. And also, even before you communicate on a hot topic where you have disagreement, a conversation about how you communicate is really helpful. Like where you say, "I think when we communicate, this is what happens. I'm like this, and I don't know that that's particularly helpful for you.
Yeah.
How can I communicate in a way that you can feel heard?" And then do the same the other way. And then you've already got a ground rules for how we communicate. And then when you have to talk about a hot topic, you're like, so I know that normally when we communicate, and this is very important to both of us, we've just both got to be clear
Yeah.
that we care for one another really well in this conversation.
That's so applicable to the workplace, to the home,
everywhere.
friends. Like if we can master that, I'm thinking as you're speaking, some of the signs that we're navigating difference well is conformity or complexity, or are the people. So we call them connect groups here
Yeah.
at church,
Yeah.
small groups, such a key part of life. Is my small group or connect group, are they people that just think like me, look like me, act like me, talk like me? Well, then maybe we need to pay attention to, am I surrounding myself with people that are different to me? Because there's a sense of conformity. Is everybody just conforming to be the same way, act the same way, live in the same way? Or am I surrounded with complexity, where you've got different cultures, different people, different thinkers, and then we are formed by that to unite around that?
Yeah.
When you think about Jesus's first small group, like,
Imagine
come on,
running that group.
you've got the zealot, the tax collector,
I know,
with,
it's
like
wild.
you've got the most complex
Yeah.
group of people, and yet they unite around
Yeah.
him. That is the picture for us as we navigate difference. Is like,
Yeah.
this is actually beautiful. It's essential for our Christ-likeness and collective calling that we are. Maybe complexity is the wrong word because
No, I
it
think
sounds negative.
complexity is good. No, complex is not bad. That's
Yeah.
the thing. Complex is not bad. Complexity can be beautiful.
Yeah,
But I think the thing to note in what you're saying about our relational spaces is, yes, we need to be careful that everybody doesn't think the same, act the same, that we're surrounded by difference. But sometimes the conformity is not actually because people are all the same. It's because people don't yet feel safe
Yeah,
to
you're right.
differ. And that takes time.
Yeah.
So while Jesus gathers this group of really different individuals, it takes time for them to get to a place where they can honestly own their difference and delight in it,
Yeah.
delight in their difference. So I think there's something around psychological safety to be different. And sometimes whenever you're in a new group of people, you kind of have to, sometimes people are waiting to see how difference is handled.
Yeah.
When these two people disagree, are they still friends at the end? And
Yeah.
if they are, well, maybe I can disagree too.
yeah,
And I think that happens over time and over modelling difference and disagreement really well. I remember when I came here to CFC, big expose here. When I came to CFC, I remember one of the first
here we go.
one of the first meetings I sat in, right? Everybody was like, let's just say disagreeing. They all had very different perspectives. And I am a fairly non-confrontational person. I really love harmony. It really, really matters to me. And I was literally like dying on the inside. This is awful. And then the meeting came to an end and everybody had a cup of tea and were killing themselves laughing at coffee break. And I was like, I don't understand.
You're just shaking in the background.
Yeah, because I didn't realise, this is a safe place for people to have
Wow.
robust disagreements. They are so safe in their relationship. This group of people that was in this meeting are so safe in their relationship with one another that they can robustly disagree. But it's not a statement of care or compassion. It's just like it's safe. It's safe enough to disagree here in this particular little group. And so I think that sometimes it's a sign of psychological safety as well, getting to that point, and that takes time.
Yeah, I think you're right on psychological safety. Because if you think about this, then like trust becomes the most essential part to the fabric of our community.
Yeah.
So stay curious.
Curious, George.
Stay
more Ryan.
Stay curious,
Stay
on a good
curious.
day. Stay curious on a good day. And be aware of our difference and embrace the difference of others.
Difference
See it
is
as
beautiful, yeah.
Difference is beautiful. So helpful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much for joining us for episode 3. Join us next time for episode 4.